Hi, Linda. Let me know when you can hear and see me okay. Sorry for the delay. Thanks so much for your patience. Hope it looks like your audio just connected. That's great. All righty. How are you today?
I'm okay. I've had a cold, so I'm a little under the
Oh no.
weather.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sure last weekend was just a rough weekend too. So
it was. It was.
yeah. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry about that. I know it's always good to be with family and like be able to be together at those really tough times, but it's just like it's never easy. So, yeah.
Right. Right. And it was a long, it's 4.5 hours up, 4.5 hours back without stop.
Woo!
So it
Yeah.
was it was a
Oh.
long day, and I came homesick. So
No. Well, yeah, probably just because you're around so many people.
maybe, yeah,
And like also like you don't always know that you've caught something at first. Like, it can take a few days to
yeah,
settle in. So like you don't always know that you've caught something. And so you can like pass it on before you realize
yeah,
it's just not the best. And then too, it's
yeah,
like, probably people want to be at the funeral. So,
yeah.
oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Well, have
okay.
you tried singing today? And how's your voice feeling?
It's rough, but I can do it.
Okay. Oh
Yeah.
man. So with the singing you've done today, how are you feeling in different parts of your range? So with the cold, like, is it more congestion? Is it more of like a tickle in the throat, like a cough?
Both.
Oh no.
But
So you're
it's
doing
not
good.
bad. It's not horrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Subtle, subtle one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like so fall is my worst allergy season. And so I'm actually like, hopefully it's like with it snowing and stuff. I was like, hopefully it stays cold because that'll help my allergies because the fall is always like really rough
Right.
congestion wise for me. I'm sorry that you're dealing with that.
Thank you.
Um, so I assume with last weekend you probably didn't, and then the cold too. You probably didn't have a ton of time to practice. But when you did have the chance to practice, what were you focusing on primarily?
Yeah. I may, because I was sick this week, I mainly listened to our last two lessons
Oh,
and
okay, yeah, more
maybe
studying.
sang a little bit with that. So both of the songs,
Mm.
working on both of those.
Nice. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's a great way to do it. There are so many things we can do even when our voice is not feeling top notch. And I think a lot of the time we think, "Oh, I can't practice. My voice is not feeling good." And we can do breathing exercises. We can do really gentle exercises sometimes. Like SOVT exercises where it's like a very gentle vocal fold closure, like maybe the lip bubbles, things like that. Um, you
Mm.
can also, like with being stuffy, you probably don't want to do humming as much, but you could just do like a really gentle ooh or something like that. And
Uh,
like you were saying, studying the piece, going through the sheet music and marking in your breaths and maybe speaking it in time. Like, so there are other things we can do. We can explore the meaning of the song and planning out our dynamics and our expressiveness. And I'm going to crescendo here, those kind of things. So I think what you did this week is great. I think that's a perfect focus.
okay.
Yeah, awesome. So do you feel like you're ready to dive into songs, or do you want us to do a few exercises just to kind of see where we're at beforehand? What do you think?
I wondered if we could
Yeah,
warm up
absolutely.
into the song.
Absolutely. Yeah, like do some exercises in the context. Yeah. So which song did you want to start with first?
How about Yesu Bambino first?
Okay, absolutely. All right. Tackle the
Yeah.
higher one first. Yeah. Um,
So I
which
have
a
a
lot of
quick,
the time is your favorite area of your voice. So,
okay. I have a quick question.
yeah.
Um, the the T's in Italian, when
Hmm.
you say it, it almost sounds like a D sound. Is it like
Yes. Good
are
question.
they all that way or?
Yeah, so the D's and T's in Italian are kind of interesting. They both sound kind of the same because they're almost like a combination of a D and a T. So it's not a
Okay.
full-on duh sound like an American duh, and it's not a full-on splashy T either, like a t t t. It's almost like a half and half. So if you play with like a D and then you add a little T to it, like da 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 da, and you make it a little crisper, or you start with the T and it's really splashy, and then you like dole it down, you get to that kind of like midpoint where it's a combination of both. So D's and T's, whichever one you're doing in Italian, they're both going to feel more like that combination. So it's a
Okay.
dentalized T is what we call it. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, that's a really good catch. Yeah, that it's a little bit different than our American pronunciation. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's almost like a
Okay.
halfway in between kind of a
And
thing.
then
So,
and then another question. Do you think it would be, I was thinking of doing like one verse in Italian and one verse in English.
I love
Do
that.
you,
Yeah.
do you think it would be better to do one or the other first, or
Um,
does it matter?
So usually when I do that, I usually do the foreign language first and then I do the English
Okay.
because then it's like, they hear the traditional piece, but then it's like, and here's what I'm actually saying. So kind of like letting them in on that a little bit more. Um, but you could do it either way. I mean,
Okay.
either
All
way
right.
is perfectly valid. I just personally usually do the foreign language first, and then I do the translation afterwards to be like, and here's for all of my English speaking friends out there.
Yeah. Okay. All
So
right.
that's just, I think, a
That's a
preference too. I know
okay.
sometimes in churches, I've specifically been asked, like they say, hey, can you just do it in English? So it kind of depends on the
Okay.
situation.
All right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it depends on the
Okay.
church, but
Okay. All
do you
right.
have a preference? Do you have one that you would
Well, that's
prefer?
kind of the way I had been doing it, but I thought
Okay,
I had to
yeah.
ask and see if there was a better way.
Yeah,
So,
that's usually what I do. I mean, so the piece, originally is in Italian, right? So
right.
that's my thought process is I'm doing it the way that it was written, but
Yeah.
then I'm also making it a little bit more accessible for my audience. So that's more
Okay.
my thought process with that. So,
All right.
yeah.
Okay. Great.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, but I think it probably depends on your audience too, but I feel like for
I
something
don't know if
like
it matters
a
to them.
special day like Christmas or Easter, doing things that are a little bit more elevated is perfectly
Uh-huh.
acceptable. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect. Because
All
it's a
right.
little more
Great.
formal celebration, I feel like. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, since we want to try to do some exercises within the context of the song, um, since you're a little stuffy, we're going to avoid the hums, or like ma 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 or na 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 type things, or me me me's. We're going to avoid the nasals as much as we can because those will be uncomfortable. So what we'll stick with instead is any of those other SOVT exercises. So do you want to try maybe the tongue trills first?
Sure. Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome. Yeah, so this will be relying heavily upon the breath. It's going to be a little more gentle on the vocal folds, and then the shaping of the tube the air flows through just stays kind of neutral throughout. Yeah.
Okay.
And everything has to be nice and relaxed because if I tighten up anything, that flow will stop. But if you feel like you
Ah.
need to cough or something, just do it and then hop back in.
Okay. All right.
Alrighty, let's do it. I'm
Okay.
excited to dive in. I know it's annoying when you haven't been feeling your best, but I'm still excited to because I didn't see you last week.
Okay.
Nice. How did it feel?
It felt okay.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like the air was moving through. We were able to phonate consistently through the line. And
Yeah.
way to go with keeping track of where you're at in the track. I know sometimes when we're doing an exercise like that without the words, it's like, where am I in the song? And so
Okay.
really nice. I was like, ooh, you know the song. I loved
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Um, Excellent. So a lot of really good things happening there. I didn't hear any like over pressurization or under pressurization. I felt like you were staying, a clean, clear line, but without kind of overdoing it, which I feel like when we're under the weather, we can kind of like push to sound like our normal, full, healthy self. So
Mm.
beautiful job, just trusting your body and being like, this is where I'm at right now. So very nice.
All right.
Yes, I'm
Good.
glad to hear it felt good. So I was thinking maybe we try on an ooh, but then when you feel like you're going a little bit higher and you need it more open, um, just try opening a little bit more. So open more to an O and then to an ah when you're really high, so like ooh, I down lower, I'm gonna have the ooh, it's a little more narrow and I can get the clarity. We're gonna stay with rounded vowels because those put less pressure on the vocal folds. So they're a little more gentle than like the E's, the A's, but also the rounded vowels are gonna help us with that more classical tone. So
Okay.
nice rounded vowels, a narrow focus when we're lower, and then just broaden that, to the O or the ah, depending on how high we go. Like the
Okay.
like you might do like oh, when you're like ooh, and then oh, when you go up higher, you can
Okay.
open up more. But always staying nice and rounded. So yeah,
Okay.
again,
Will
just
do.
like clarity, efficiency, balance. We're not pushing for this. We keep it nice and light. Yeah,
Okay.
but still supported.
Okay.
Okay, how did that feel?
Okay, yeah, felt good.
Yeah, good, excellent. All right, so, um, all right, so tell me, what would you say you felt about your breath and the phrasing and um, the vibrato through that take?
Mostly okay. I felt like I was running out of breath on some of the longer phrases.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a couple options there. One, it could be just because of the cold, right? Um, but we have a couple options. So one thing that I sometimes do when I feel like I can't quite get as much breath today for whatever reason is I will do shorter phrases and take little sips of breath more often. So taking a look at some of these longer phrases, where do you feel like you could breathe instead?
Oh gosh, let's see. I don't know where they are. All right. See, so maybe definitely between stars and their exaltation.
Okay.
Let's see. And then with the let us adore. I wonder if I need to sneak in a breath before him, or would that be awkward?
Uh,
Definitely,
oh,
maybe before
come,
Christ.
let us breath adore him.
Okay.
We try that
Maybe.
instead.
Yeah. And then between him and Christ,
Hmm.
maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
him, and then breath Christ. And I think if you needed to, you could breathe there, the Lord, if you wanted.
Okay. All right. So those are the main things. And then at the end,
Yeah.
let's see. So definitely after the Oz, um, between the Oz, between the O comes or Venite. Let's see. It just depends on how long I hold out Lord. On
Hmm.
this track, they make it a little shorter than some of the artists I've heard
Yeah.
sing. Let's see, let us adore. That can be long, depending
Hmm.
on the track. Um,
Let us breath adore him. You could do
okay,
that.
yeah, okay, yeah. Other than that,
So
I
what I
think it's
would say is
okay.
we never want to breathe in the middle of a word, and we try to make it make sense phrase wise as much as possible.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, so then let's go ahead and try. Do you feel like you'd prefer to sing through on vowels again, thinking about the phrasing, or I feel like adding the words in can help with knowing where to breathe. So I feel
Yeah,
like
let's
trying
just,
it on the words is a good way to approach this now.
that sounds good.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
So I'll try Italian first and then English. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Nell'umile campana, nel freddo e povertà, è nato il santo popolo che il mondo adorerà. Osana, Osana, cantano con giubilo
Yes. What did you think of that?
Pretty good. Got mixed up in the words a couple time or two. Ran out of breath
Oh,
once, but
yeah,
yeah, it's
that
okay.
was lovely. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
thanks.
fumbling up the words, that's okay. We were focusing on other things, right? We were focusing on things like the phrase shapes, and we were changing that. Also, we were taking smaller sips of breath more often instead of those longer, deeper breaths for the longer phrases, right? So sometimes when we're focusing on one thing, it's like, oh, I kind of flubbed that up. But did we feel like we improved on what we were working on?
Yes, I felt like I'm improving on keeping the
Exactly.
support
Yes.
continuous, even
So
on the
we
shorter phrases.
succeeded, right, at the
Okay.
goal, which is great. So,
Yeah.
how did we feel that we did then? Was there any spot where you noticed that you were like, oh, that was still kind of tricky? What'd you think?
Hmm. I have to remember now.
That's okay.
I can't remember where it was that I um the the parts where there's one part where it's tricky because the probably where I'm going to breathe on the Italian is different than I'm going to breathe on the English because of the words.
Yeah.
So that'll be for Italian and that'll be for English.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm curious if we tried it on the English. Have you tried that yet? And do you know how that's going to line up with the notes and everything? Are the words fitting in well? And you feel like you know, like
Yeah.
when you switch it between Italian and English, are there any spots that are really different in terms of like how the words and the phrasing lines up?
I think I'm navigating it okay. Does it sound like I am?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for
Okay.
sure. Yeah, so I just wondered about that, like how you're
Okay.
feeling in terms of that. Um, yeah, awesome. And then are you feeling, I'm curious about the vibrato as well. How are you feeling about that?
I wasn't really paying attention to that.
Oh, that's okay.
How did,
Yeah. So
how
that
did
was
it
something
sound
that
to
I
you?
was like, I feel like we could work a little bit on that just to get it very consistent for the classical
Okay.
style. We want a
Sure.
very consistent vibrato. So we're thinking about um just that consistency. So it having a steady spin through the phrase. So like, if I'm singing a note, I want to have a steady spinning breath all throughout, right?
Okay.
Um, what can happen a lot of the time, and that I hear every now and then, is that on the faster moving notes, we tend to be like, oh, like that's easy. I don't, like I don't need to support as much there. And so our breath tends to like slacken the support on the faster moving notes. So checking that the consistent support is there and the spin is there through all of the notes.
Okay.
So like when we have like do 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 do, we tend to want to get the vibrato on the longer held notes. Do, and then on the do do will be like short and light, and then we won't have the vibrato there. And so then that comes across, right? And then it's like, oh, we lost it. So just watch that on the faster moving notes that you also have a consistent spin, breath support, and vibrato in those moments as well, which does take a lot more breath energy. So just fair warning about that.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
you'll
Gotcha.
be like, "Ooh, this takes a lot more breath energy." Also, when you're doing it with the consonants, like if you try on the vowels, that can be something that really helps with that line. The like, if I did like, I was thinking the English there. But if I, am on the vowels alone, it sometimes is easier to get that spin consistently on those faster notes. And then I add back the consonants. When flowers blossomed mid the snow. And then you'll notice that it takes more breath energy when you add those consonants back in. So that's something I would recommend is try singing first off just on an open ah through. and try to get the consistent vibrato and
Okay.
support on those faster moving notes. Then try on the vowels of the words with the
Okay.
consistent vibrato on every single note and the support through the line. And then try adding the consonants in
Okay.
and try to keep that steady support and on the faster moving notes, the spin consistently through. I'm loving, even though I would say like we kept it a little bit lighter, like a little bit softer throughout today, which is good because you're a little under the weather. I still loved how expressive you were. Like I was hearing dynamic
Uh,
changes and, crescendos, diminuendos. Like there was still a lot of artistry and musicality in there. And I was like, oh, I love hearing that.
okay.
I felt like you singing with the track, like you know exactly where you are and the counts, loved that. So, like going back through and studying the music this week really paid off because I could really tell that like
Okay.
you knew where to take your breaths and where to come in and like you were right with the track, which was beautiful. So I definitely heard progress today. What were the
All
things
right.
that you noticed that you were like, I really liked XYZ that I was doing, or I improved in these areas, and that felt really good?
Um, well, again, just the getting the breaths off
Mm-hmm.
enough, but also more continuous when I
Yeah.
more continuous support when I am singing through. I read somewhere that it was originally like a lullaby kind of a thing.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's another reason I was singing it lightly. I thought, oh well,
Right.
maybe it's
It's like
supposed to be
singing
more
to the
like
baby
a
Jesus.
you're
Right.
singing to a baby
Mm-hmm. Yes.
kind of
Singing a
thing.
lullaby to the baby Jesus. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's so interesting, to think of that as like, okay, he's God, but he also is a baby, Like,
yeah.
so
Uh-huh.
yeah, like he would need to be nurtured and rocked and fed and changed. Like, it's kind of like, I feel like the idea of like Jesus washing feet or something, like that we have to, like, Mary had to care for him and protect him. And like, so it's such an interesting concept to be like, oh, this is a lullaby for God who is a baby right now. Like,
All
it's such a
right.
vulnerable state.
Uh-huh.
So, I feel like
Hmm.
things that just like as a child I just kind of took for granted, like now as an adult I think about it and I'm like, wow, I just perceive this so differently.
Yeah.
um, yeah, so yes, it's a lullaby to the baby
All
Jesus, like
right.
you're rocking him to sleep. Yeah,
Right. So
beautiful.
I may
Yeah,
want to
so
sing
that
it a
more
little
more
softer for
tender,
that
soft
reason.
approach actually works really beautifully.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So it's more of an interpretive choice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
I
Hmm.
think it sounds lovely, and it actually, yeah, I think that a lot of the time this song can feel too heavy. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I really liked how light you were keeping it today, just like a very
Okay.
elevated palette. We're not really like mixing and like having a heavy chest voice addition. It's just very light and lifted,
Uh-huh.
and it sounded beautiful. So.
All right.
Yeah,
Good.
honestly, I was like, you sound great.
Uh,
You might feel like the sensation of the vibrations differently or hear yourself a little bit differently when you're stuffy and stuff. Um, but honestly, like it sounded lovely. And even like the nasal consonants, if you just move through those really fast, your audience doesn't really notice. You'll notice and be like, that's so uncomfortable. But the audience really usually doesn't pick up on that. It sounded lovely.
all
So,
right.
yeah.
Awesome.
And sometimes too, I notice that the congestion kind of sits in certain ranges, or like you'll want to cough at certain ranges of your voice. But it sounded like the high felt very comfortable today.
Good.
So, yeah,
Good. All
lovely.
right.
Lovely
Okay. Thank
work.
you.
Yes,
Thanks.
beautiful. It's interesting because both of your Christmas songs are kind of lighter songs. I mean, they're in different parts of your range, but they both stay a little more light.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I know in the past we sometimes have had big, boisterous, like celebratory things. So it's actually kind of fun to have this more tender, delicate, intimate approach.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to work
Yeah.
on a little different technique. So, yeah,
All
beautiful.
right.
So you
Okay.
sound great.
Thank you.
So, yeah, just
Appreciate
keep
it.
hydrating and taking extra good care of your voice this week, but really lovely.
All right.
No complaints from
Well,
me.
thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Okay. We're
Well,
good for next
beautiful
week.
work. Yep. Keep up the good work,
Okay.
and I will see you soon. Bye,
Great.
Linda.
Thanks, Mandy. Okay.